Prepare yourselves for an evening filled with paranormal, special guests, interviews, haunting stories, creatures of the unknown, and tales that will chill you to the bone. Brought to you by the UPRN Network and Pittsburgh Paranormal Society. Take a walk into the night with Shawn Kelly.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome into the night with Shawn Kelly. That's me in person. How is everybody doing tonight? I hope doing okay. I hope you had a wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and a nice Christmas. However, but I need to tell you what happened to me here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. At exactly 11:20 a.m., we heard a real loud boom. I mean, this thing was huge. It shook our house. And other people that I know, it affected their house and their lights. It was crazy. And so personally, me, I was just saying, oh, hell, like, what the hell? Hey, Stuart. We're just like wondering, like, oh, what the hell? And then we saw on the news that there was a meteor that came in from outer space, and when it hit the Earth's atmosphere, okay, it blew up. It made a big boom, a real big boom. What was something about this? It was only a yard, like 3.5 by 3.5, and the total weight of that meteor was they claim about 1,000 pounds. Okay, and it was coming to Earth at 45,000 miles per hour. Can you imagine that? 45,000 miles per hour. Oh wow, I can't even imagine that. But the strange thing was, let me look at my notes here. It was the equivalent of 30 tons of TNT. I mean, it was crazy. Seriously crazy. And when I found out about it, I was kind of concerned because the government never told us that it was coming. Like, it disappeared. And yeah, seriously, Stuart, it was wild, and it actually shook my house, and where it exploded was about 40 minutes away from where I live. And but we never got no warning about it. And what was really crazy was we just finished 2021, and that was a pretty screwed up year, and I figure January 1st, 2022, everything will be happy, start something brand new, and then all of a sudden, boom, a meteor exploded. And it kind of like really got me upset, to the point where, I was like questioning about the government and why they didn't inform us. But I'm not going to get into that. That's for, another show. But I was like totally disappointed. Just think, if that thing didn't disintegrate, if it actually made it through the Earth's atmosphere, then I wouldn't be here tonight. There would be no chasing prophecy. There wouldn't be a no enter into the night with me. And that's kind of scary, So we're going to see what happens with that. I'm sure, hopefully, that someone's looking into it, and maybe we can get some more answers why it was happening here. Because I did a little research and I did a little reading, and the majority of the meteors that do, explode or come into the Earth's sphere is that they land in water. They land in places where there's nobody around, no people around, and so you really don't hear nothing about it. So It's something that I'm pretty interested in knowing a little bit more. I mean, it caught my interest. Um, the other day, well, my last week's guest, Carmen, her and her husband were on, and they talked about, how they saw like trucks that were unmarked, and there's a lot of stuff that is happening on their mountain where they live. And it's crazy because I'm not that far from them. And why Pennsylvania? Why do you think Pennsylvania? I got one reason: we have a lot of mountains. So uh, is there alien stuff going on up there? Is there a secret military base going on up there? That's something that when the weather gets a little bit warmer, I'm going to take a ride up there and just see what's going on. I do know that they have a pipeline up there, you know. Um, so I'm going to have to check that out and see what's happening with that. Just, a lot of weird stuff has been popping up lately. And so, oh, yeah, Stuart, we talked about that the last show on Chasing Prophecy. There is a bigger asteroid out there. Um, and according to Jenny, she thinks it's going to hit sooner or later. And you know what? I believe that. Um, I believe that. I don't know. It just like scary what's out there, and But I'm not going to let it bother me. Okay, I'm not going to let you know. I'm not going to be dwelling on it. To me, because if I don't, then I'm going to get ulcers. I'm going to get headaches, and then I'm going to start going into depression, and I'm going into anxiety, and I'm going to be very paranoid, and I don't want to be there again. Um, Things are looking up. Things are doing great for me now with my depression and my anxiety, and I'm pretty well leveled off now. Of course, I have to take some medication for it, but you know what? That's okay. See, for the longest time, I knew that I did have a lot of major depression, but I did not want to work, get help for it because even though I'm investigating now, at the time, I was doing a lot of investigations for ghosts. And I thought that if I was on certain medications, that my ability to sense, feel, and hear and see ghosts would go away or disappear, and I didn't want that to happen. So I didn't take the medication. I didn't seek help. But you know, lately, let's say back in November when no, that was like October. I started taking the medication, and I come to find out that nothing changed. I still can see, hear, feel ghosts, and I'm okay with that. It took me a long time. I beat myself up for a very very long time with that. Not knowing if it was going to ruin what I know how, with, I don't want to say communicate with spirits. That sounds ridiculous, but sensing that they're around. And at that point, I didn't want nothing to affect it because we do a lot of private residences where I have to be on my up and up because I don't, we have to find out what's in the house and what's bothering these people and our clients. And so I've done a couple investigations where I was on the medication and I'm doing okay. But I have to tell you, honestly, that I do think of you who has mental illness, who has depression, who has anxiety. I do think of you, and I do pray for you. You're not alone in this. Okay, if you have to, just go to my Pittsburgh Paranormal page and send me a message, and maybe by just talking about it, we can, see what we can do for you. But I do care for you. And I do hope that you get the right medication or the right help to help you through this because I know it worked for me. So there's another thing that we talked about on the first show um, about you know again about the government, how I guess you want to say they brainwashed us because there's a lot of things going out there, like with the fear of the COVID. Okay, it's legit. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Um, but what's scary is how people are afraid that they're going to get sick. And this happened to a person who I'm really, really close with. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but it really ruined our Christmas. It did. Um, so this person, took a test, and the so-called test result was COVID. Okay, and automatically went into protect mode for this person. And, that person went back home and we didn't get to spend a little bit of time on Christmas with them. And so it kind of hurt. But, so I think, and it's not just that person that I know, but it's happening to a lot of people. I see it at work. A lot of people, they're just like scared. And it's not a way to live. It's not a way to live, to be afraid of something. I mean, I can rant and rave and yell and scream and bitch and complain, but you know what? It just seems like the more that I do that kind of stuff, people don't want to hear it. They're just like stuck, like they have blinders on their eyes. And I'm not here to judge you if you are one of those people who are listening to my show. I'm not. I'm not here to judge you. I mean, the only person that can judge you is the big guy upstairs. So I just think that we weren't given a fair chance. I don't think we were given a deal to where we wouldn't have to be so afraid. So that's my take on that. I just wish the government would be brutally honest with us and just tell us straight out. Sure, they say, yeah, there's an alien coming or something. We're going to be attacked by aliens. And I'm like, you know what? Just tell us that it's going to happen instead of putting people in fear. Sure, there's going to be chaos and chaotic stuff. And I can understand why they won't say nothing. But you have to realize that if you don't say anything and this stuff happens, people are going to go nuts. But I know in this day and age, okay, I know this day and age that it wouldn't affect us because, we are learning a little bit more on what we're taught about, UFOs, aliens, COVID, whatever, so it don't really it really wouldn't be surprised if a spaceship just landed in my backyard. I'd be like, wow, that is cool. Or I get to be able to shake an alien's hand. That would be sweet, you know. But if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. But please, please, I need you to understand. I am not here to judge you. You do what you have to do to survive. And that's what we do, and that's what we have to do. But tonight, I want to talk give you a couple stories on happened on some of the investigations that I've gone to. Yeah, it would be Stuart. I'd love that, man. Just give me a selfie and I'd be happy and put it on. But you know what, Stuart? What would be crazy? I did do that, and it actually happened. People would think I'm a nutcase, and they'd say, "Oh, you photoshopped that picture," blah blah blah. But that's here and there and say. But I'm going to talk about some ghost experiences I had on some investigations. on some of the big places that we went to. Um, First one I want to talk about is down there in Trimway, Ohio. It's called Prospect Place. And it is a mansion built in the early 1900s. Um, I really don't know the names of the people who owned it, but I do know that they were really, really big in the railroad at the time. And but also they also had um, they were part of the Underground Railroad, and the way they had it set up was it was easy access for people to escape from down south and up to the north. And they have this little place. It's down there. It's in their cellar. Okay. And when you're down there investigating, okay, if you sit way in the back, imagine sitting way in the back and you're looking and you see the hallway and you see a light, right? And honest to gosh, you can actually see shadows coming back and forth. It's really cool. I mean, you just see lots of shadows, lots of shadows, lots of shadows going through. And it to me, that's like really the most haunted place down there in that area is down in the cellar. I remember one time I was sitting down, down in the cellar on a chair. We were doing a couple EVP sessions down there, and I looked up on the cigars. This spirit just came right up into my face. Caught me off guard there. It was kind of like shaking, and I was shaking and a little nervous. I was like, "Whoa, dude, where you been?" You caught me a little off guard. Um, and it was probably my biggest um, situation that occurred down at Prospect Place. Not only is their cellar pretty haunted, um, they also have the barn. And the story behind the barn is that some of the guys, there were, when the slaves would run away or come up north, they would have people come and find them, you know, uh, bounty hunters, I think that's what they call them. And with the bounty hunters, they caught one and they hung him in the barn. And you know what? It's pretty creepy in that place. In the barn area, Prospect Place, in the barn is really, really creepy. If you want to, Google Prospect, Prospect Place, Trimway, Ohio, and read the history behind it. It's pretty interesting. But I have to say, there was a girl ghost down there, and her name was Constance. Okay, and I guess she'd taken a liking to me, you know, um, because I treated her with respect. I knew she was there. She told me her name, and I found out about the history of of her down in that place, and that, so I just one night sat there and started talking to her, and ever since that, um, I guess you would say, become friends. You know what I mean? She was very, very protective of me, very much so. Um, and I remember one time I've been down there like 4 or 5 times, and I brought the group down there, and there was one um, lady in the group that just liked to hang around me because I guess she kind of liked me, or she just wanted to learn more about the paranormal. And I'm telling you what, Constance didn't like it because I guess she, knew what this girl that was with me in the group, what her main intentions was, and she caused her hell for the whole weekend. And so me and every now and then, I can feel her presence, and she comes up, says hello, and goes back. I really haven't gone back to Prospect for a long time. I like what they're doing with the place. Sure, it's a place where you have to pay to investigate for the night, but what they're doing, which I think is awesome, is that they're taking the monies from the investigation and they're actually restoring the mansion like it was back in the early 1900s. They're doing the rooms up really nice. They're making the bedrooms like they used to be, and they're restoring it, which I think is so cool. Um, in a couple more years, I might take another trip down there to Prospect Place and find out how much they have worked on it. It's going to be interesting. But Prospect Place, that was probably one of my best stories. Best place to go was down there um, with the cellar and with Constance. That was cool. Um, so a couple other places that I have a really cool Gettysburg story. All right, and I know I brought Gettysburg up here a lot, but I need, the best story was we were filming. I had a TV show called Paranormal Pittsburgh, and I had to pay for it, so you can't find it anywhere. I might have it on my old computer or whatever, but we were up there on Sachs Bridge, and so one night we're filming, and I was like, "Wow, this is crazy. This is, everything was going great. Orbs flying around, we were catching them. We were having a lot of hits on the K2 meters, and we were catching a lot of stuff on film. But there is a ghost, and he's a Confederate soldier, and he's from Tennessee. Okay. And he likes to have company. He really does. He likes to show off. He's very communicated. What with him though, when you're done interacting with him, you have to leave a cigarette and you have to leave a match because the boy likes tobacco. And so that's what we do. But one night, I guess he got mad at me. I didn't leave him a cigarette, and I felt this real sharp pain in the back, in the back of my back. And I'm telling you what, it was like getting zapped with electricity. Honest to gosh, because for the next 3 or 4 days, I just wasn't right. Um, my body wasn't right. I wasn't feeling good. I was real nauseous. You know, um, I do believe there's a picture of it, of a little mark like that on my back. But that's not the only time that I got I guess knifed or stabbed or whatever you want to call it. But there are a couple other places that I have gone to, and I actually got bit. Yeah, someone spirit got mad at me and bit my arm. You can actually see the teeth marks but this was a long time ago. And I actually um, got kicked in the shins. So I figure it was a little ghost person or a little ghost kid or something like that. I don't know. But that was like really, really crazy. Definitely getting marked up. Definitely getting, I hate the word attack because being attacked, to me, being attacked is when, they really beat you up, or something seriously happens to you. And I just want to say that, they were jovial, you know, jovial encounters. And, cool. Stuart, you cut demons on a picture. I got demons on a picture that I took when I went to Fort Knox in Brewer, Maine. I want to go to Maine, Stuart. I hear there's a lot of places up there that are haunted. Plus, I think it's really pretty. I also watch Maine Cabin Masters too, so that's another reason why I want to go up there. But But there are many a times where I got punched, scratched, kicked, and I don't want to say verbally abused, but they had a couple few choice words for me there. So in a way, I think it's like really, really funny. We did another investigation. Now this was crazy, right? It was over here in Pittsburgh, up there, up, up, up on the north side, somewhere over there. And I got an email from my client, and she said she explained how her little girl was sitting in a room, you know, and the lady actually couldn't hear her daughter talking, so she went up to him, to see if she was okay. And the mother walked into the room, and the little girl turned to her mother and said, "I want to see." I said, she goes, "Mom, this is my friend Johnny." And Johnny wasn't there. And that really, really freaked the mom out. And so that's how we got in contact. Um, so we get there, we set up our cameras, and we actually, had communicated with Johnny. But here's the crazy part about this whole story. Okay. Johnny wasn't there to hurt the little girl. Johnny was there to alert her mother that there was something there that was evil. Okay. Even in spirit world, well, in real life, how you got people who like to take control of other people, and they want to take control and tell them what to do and not what to do, and they use kind of force on them. I don't know, I'm just being an asshole, I guess. But they're also like that in spirit, because you got to realize one thing. In spirit, if you're a good person when you're alive, you're going to be a good person when you're dead with your spirit. But if you're a really bad, negative person, a really nasty, excuse me, asshole in life, um, you're going to be like that when you go to the other side. So, long story short, there was a real bad ghost that was controlling all the other ghosts in the house. Now, I know that sounds weird, okay? Because the house had about eight or nine different ghosts. And so what happened was that in order for me and my group to get there to take care or get rid of this evil ghost or bad ghost, they had to somehow get the mother to get in contact with us. And so we did. We got rid of the bad ghost, and the house became really peaceful. Very no more ugliness. And what was really sweet, that happened back in 2022. I'd have to say 2012, 2010, around that area. So about a couple of years ago, I got an email from the mom. And this was like 4 or 5 years after we investigated the house. And she said to me in the email, she said, "I can't thank you enough for doing what you did, for my little girl and for our house. You made life a lot more easier to live there." And that kind of made me feel really good that I could do that. And that's just one. That's just one over of many that I have done. Um, and to me, it's not all about the money. It's not all about the best audio you can get, the best video that you can get, and for bragging rights or whatever the hell you want to call them. Just so that my clients, they just get a peace of mind, and then they can move on in life and live their lives. I won't have to say, I can't say ghost free, but because there's going to be ghosts all around all the time, all the time. But the bad one, we got rid of that one, and their life became more easier, which I think was so sweet. And that's another thing I'd like to bring up with the paranormal and children. Okay, you get a lot of parents, and I totally understand um, when their little kid or their little girl or boy said, "Mommy, I want you to meet my imaginary friend," and you're like, some parents are like, and I don't blame them. Trust me, I don't. I don't blame them. If I was in their shoes, and I didn't know what was going on in the world or this kind of stuff, then I would probably feel the same way. And what they say, well, that the parents would say, well, they don't exist. You don't have a friend. They don't exist at all. And it really frustrates the kid because they actually see the ghost, but they're trying to tell their mom that they or dad that they are experiencing it, but the parents don't want to listen. And I do believe that is the fear of the parents might have fear of ghosts. But I mean, this is your own judgment. If you think you can do this, if your son or daughter are starting talking to you about um, ghost, about their imaginary friend, ask questions. Talk to them a little bit more about it. You know, kind of like just sit there and listen and let them hear what you're talking and what they're saying about it, because it will make first of all, it would make their lives a lot easier, because as they grow up, well, mommy didn't believe me that I was talking about this ghost, so why would she believe? I always recommend that when your kid sees a ghost or an imaginary friend, then you just say, hey, who is it? What's her name? Why do you think they're there? And then if you have that little inkling where, this doesn't sound pretty good, okay, call somebody in to help you. Contact another paranormal group. Talk. Bring somebody in that's a professional that can actually sit there and try to figure out what's going on. Um, and it helps matters out. I ran into that situation many times with parents, not believing in what their kids are saying. And we go to the house out of curiosity of the parents, and we find stuff. We get evidence that the ghost is there. And if the ghost isn't a good ghost, and then we get rid of that ghost. I'm not going to tell you right now how I get rid of the ghost. That's for another show. But I'm just here to, they do go. And so that was pretty interesting. But I do want to share another kid ghost story. We were in an investigation over in Green Tree, PA, and there was a little girl that her and her family were killed in a car accident. And the little girl was stuck on the earth plane here. And she stayed at this house because there was some things in the house that reminded her of her when she was alive. So what would happen is that she would start again, moving stuff, playing, moving keys or making noise. And so we went over there. And then, through a lot of talking, through a lot of communication with the spirit, come to find out she's a little girl. And she was looking for her family, her mom and dad and her little bro. And she was lost. She was scared. She just wanted to find her parents. And the lady who was a client at the time was a very, very nice lady, very nice and very motherly. So she kind of felt safe around the girl. But with the little girl doing some, a lot of, not destructive, but, like I said, moving keys and, opening up cupboards and stuff like that. The girl got concerned, the lady got concerned. So I remember I went into a meditation and I met the little girl. And I work with an angel and that help kids cross over into the light. And so, and she's a beautiful angel, very, very pretty, very beautiful. And she came down and she took the little girl, and the little girl was afraid to go. Okay. Um, but the angel, we kind of like guided her, to go to the light. And it was the really coolest thing in the world. Seriously cool. Um, when the light opened, when the light came out, her parents were standing right there waiting for her to come in. Hi, Chris. How are you tonight? The little girl's parents and her brother were there waiting for her, and it was look. I even got chills. I got chills right now. The spidey senses are kicking in. But it was a beautiful sight. Very, very sad, but in the meantime, it was very, very, it was a nice one. It was pretty cool. But, there were times that I have done investigations weren't that cool. Okay. We did one investigation. You know, I did, people, guys are crazy sometimes or really ridiculous. Okay. And I'll tell you what, I'm glad you're doing good, Chris. Um, and they're stupid because we were called to this one apartment where this guy and this girl lived. Okay, and this girl was having a lot of you know paranormal activity as she was stating. Okay, I talked to her on the phone, talked to her through emails, and she was like really really concerned that there was a bad ghost in her house. So we went up there and we investigated. And what happened was on the bottom of one of her drinking glasses, the bottom broke off. For some reason, it broke off. Now that was paranormal, okay? But the boyfriend was there, and all of a sudden, we're in the living room, we're doing our EVPs and stuff, and her boyfriend just screams and said, "Oh my God! Look what's here! Look what's here! Look what's here! Look what's here!" And so we went into the room, and there was that bottom piece of the glass that was on their counter. And he said, "Oh, there is a ghost here. There is a ghost here." And he was just like, I'll tell you what, he'd win an Academy Award the way he was acting. And I said, "Well, we're going to see because we have a camera set up there." "Oh, you can't see that. You can't see that. That camera is directed away you know, from where that was," which was true. But Russ, my other investigator, had a camera going the other way. Okay. And we busted him. All along, he was doing all this so called paranormal activity. So his girlfriend would leave the apartment and he would have it all to himself. Now, isn't that sick? That's sick. Why would you want to do that with somebody? You know? I talked to her. That happened a while back, and then I just got done talking to her the other day. And you know what? She's doing good. She's doing good. I don't think she's dating anybody. I don't think she wants to date. But that guy was a real pain in the ass, man, for even thinking about doing something like that. Why? Why would you want to do that? Shits and giggles. I mean, today's world's all screwed up. People are screwed up in the head, and just just having power over people and scaring. Oh, there's a shadow. It just walked behind me. I don't know if you all saw it. If you all saw that, leave it in the comments. I just saw a shadow go past my back of my head. But that's like some of the crazy stuff. That when a person has to, you know, go to any length to make somebody else's life miserable, that's not good. You know, I believe in karma, and I'm sure karma's going to bite him in the ass one of these days, and that's okay because he deserves it. But back to my ghost stories, or my ghost stories from investigations. Like I said, there was a bad situation. This young couple we became friends with a long time ago. Their father passed away, and what was crazy was the house was built on top of a cemetery, on top of a graveyard. And they could not sell their house. They could not sell their house. And they weren't asking for no outrageous prizes. Um, and people would come and they go away and they couldn't figure out why. Well, a lot, I mean, your house is built on a cemetery. What are you going to think? You're going to have ghosts. But come to find out that they had a run-in with a bad ghost. And like I told you before, if you're a bad person, when you die, you're going to be a bad ghost, which was causing a lot of crap. What they needed to do was sell the father's house in order to pay for some of the funeral expenses. And so we went up there, and went one-on-one with the ghost, and I cleared it. I got rid of it. And here's the coolest thing about that whole situation. We cleared it. A week later, they somebody bought their father's house, 50,000 more than what they were asking for. Just because that bad ghost went away. Really did. Yeah, I thought that was so cool. When she told me that was, to me, again, helping other people, understanding what's going on and taking care of the situation at hand. You know, they sold the house, and to me, that's the reward. They offered me money and I wouldn't take it because it's not what it's all about. It's all about helping people. I mean, if you want to pay me or give me a donation to, if I did something for you, cool, I'll take the donation. But no, I don't want no money. I said, just buy me a cup of coffee, have coffee and iced tea there, for me. And that would be good enough. I don't believe in charging people, for an investigation. We're here to help and to help people understand what's going on. Um, but I got about 7 minutes left, a little bit over 7 minutes. So I want to tell you this one story, what was really, really, really bad. We went to an apartment up in Kennedy Township. And, the girls that lived in there, they messed around with the Ouija board, and they were doing witchcraft, and they weren't doing nice things with it either. They were young, okay, and they figured, being a Wiccan or being a witch and casting spells and, playing with the Ouija board was all, going to help them, get to where they needed. But what had happened was they conjured up something that wasn't nice. Okay. Do demons exist? Yes, they exist. And so I remember, I found out where the not a demon, but a wannabe demon. He was a real bad ghost, an evil ghost that wanted to become a demon. Okay. So what happened was I was there and I sat down and I went into my meditation, and I saw him and we started to duke it out. But that's for another story how I duke it out with a ghost. But I mean, we were really going at it. I mean, this ghost was strong. It was a strong ghost, and so we're duking it out, and um, all of a sudden he brought out his hellhounds, and they exist. I'm telling you, they exist. They're mean. They're scary. But in my back pocket, you know, I am I have a lot of animal spirits that work with me, and I have mine. His name is Lakota. He's big, he's bad, he's ugly, but he kicks butt. And I have a couple other wolves with me. So I mean, it was I was under for about an hour, duking it out with this dude. But here's the scary thing. Um, Here's the scary situation. It scared the shit out of me. So imagine where I'm sitting at, that's where the demon was at. Okay. So I'm in this meditation, duking it out. So to the right of the demon, this hole opened up, just like it's a perfect circle. Okay. Right next to the demon. And this black figure comes out of that hole, grabs the dude by the head, okay, and pulls him down into that hole, okay, and the hole closes up. And again, my goosebumps, okay, and that that was a sight. That was a scary sight to see that happened. Um, Either he became a demon, or else they said, you had your fun. Now it's time to come down here. But when I saw that thing come out of that hole just like that, and just grab him by the head and just pulled him right back into that, down and back into that hole there. That was a little freaking creepy for me, So not all my investigations, are happy investigations. A lot of our investigations have to do with bad spirits. But And that's what they are. They're bad spirits. They're real. That's all they are. The movies, TV shows, everything is a demon. Everything is a demon. Everything's a demon. 99 point, I'd say 99.5% of the time, it's not a demon. Okay. Usually is just a ghost that does not. And I just saw another shadow walk back behind my back, and this is like so cool. But 99.5% of the time, it's just a ghost who's not liking what you're doing. And I'll explain a little bit more on that. Say like you went in and you bought your house, and the ghost lived at that house for the longest time, and that ghost like polka dotted wallpaper. Okay, they like that. The ghost like that polka dotted paper. Now I come in, I don't like it, so I tear it down and get rid of it. And that's when all hell breaks loose, because you tore down something that you liked. And there were a couple of investigations I had to go in, and it was like, tell the spirit straight out, It's like, dude, this isn't your house no more. I mean, the people don't mind you hanging around, but, you got to be a little bit nicer. And sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. I don't know. But I know some places where, um, somebody took down a wall and did some remodeling on a house. And, yep, of course, they did it. And that really pissed the spirit off. And the spirit made sure what was happening, you know. So those are the little things. And it's getting pretty close to that witching hour here. I had a good evening tonight. You know, we had a good show on Chasing Prophecy. We're on UPRN Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, as my show is. I forgot to say that at the beginning. My producer might get mad at me, but I don't know. Um, if he does, he does. If he don't, he don't. But he and it was just a good night overall. It was the best 3 hours or 3.5 hours of radio that I did, and I'm looking forward to more better days. Now 2022, I'm going to take it as is. You know what I mean? I'm going to live 2020, 2022, one day at a time. You know, I mean, our last guest, I forget his name. I'm not good at names. Flood. He's from North Carolina. And I'm going to North Carolina, and we're going to do some investigating down in North Carolina. And I'm sure I'll, be able to, I will come back with some stories with that. If you have any ideas, what you want my show to do, talk about, it is into the night, and I do talk ghosts. I do talk paranormal and whatever, but there's also some of my shows that I just talk whatever's on my mind, and so whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Every now and then I'll have a guest on or something like that, but I really enjoy what I do, and I enjoy this show. I got a good producer. And Chasing Prophecy, Jason, Jenny, and Trish. I'm telling you. I mean, we're badass. We are. We kick some butt because we're a good show, and we get good people on. So, on that note, I'm going to say goodnight. And don't forget, I want you all to know that I do care about you. I do pray for you. And hopefully get to hear or see or talk to you next week. On that note, happy hunting.